Hey everybody, it's Blast from the Saddle here. How you all doing? I've been talking away at you and I didn't have the camera on. Oh, good. Anyway, what I wanted to do, and I'll start again, is I wanted to do a review on the Honda CRF250L at 35,000 kilometers. It's a little more than that on the clock right now. And so I figured, there's got to be something to say about the bike at 35,000 kilometers, right? I've owned it since new 2013, February 2013. Started riding it right away, even though it was in the winter. And I ride it all year long, by the way. So, well, first of all, I would say to begin with that this is an excellent bike if what you're looking for, something to commute on, something to zip around the city on, something nimble and light, and something to take you up into the trails, up into the hills. And this bike will do it. This bike will do all those things excellently. It's super nimble. You could just flick it around and it'll get you anywhere you want to go in the hills. You point it, no matter how rough, it'll take you there. Very, very dependable in that regard. The bike has some downsides, but the thing is, it's a fairly inexpensive bike, and yet the build quality is very high, for most part, very high. So it's a blank canvas. You can do what you want with it, and you're not afraid to because you didn't spend, $10,000 for the thing. But there are things, having said that you would want to do. So I'll go over those, and basically it'll take the form of telling you what mods I've done, because the mods I've done are what most people find needs improving on the bike. The first thing is the power. It's a good engine, but they restrict it quite a bit in stock form. So what I did was opened up the airbox. I constructed a larger snorkel, and then the aftermarket filter, I use the K&N. I've tried a few variations of different filters, but I like the K&N so far. That's the one I like. And so now we have better intake, and next step, better exhaust. So I put on a full system Yoshi RS4 exhaust. And then to make all that work together, better intake, better outflow, you want more fuel. So you have more fuel, more air, more power, right? So I use the EJK fuel controller. And with that, you can fine-tune this bike. You can play with that and fine-tune it really well. So that's what I've done. And that solves the power problem, because now it feels like a different bike power-wise. It really does. The other thing, as you notice, Aftermarket Tank. That's the Service tank there. And I put that on because the stock bike, the tank it comes with, very minimal. We have, where I live, there's a town. It's, I forget how many kilometers away, but the nearest gas station was beyond the range of this bike. It was crazy. So Aftermarket Tank solved that issue. For me, it's just a no-brainer, and it's one of the best mods I did. No more fretting in the hills, wondering, should I turn back? Because, I might not make it back. Yeah, that solves the problem. The other thing is gearing, because in stock form, the gearing on this bike is not really ideal. Unless you live in dead flat land, then I guess it'd be fine. But as you can see, well, hills are pretty low right here, but I live in a mountainous area, and in stock form, you get going in 6th gear on the highway and you're gearing down to 5 every single hill almost, It just has no guts in 6th. So what I did was I changed the countershaft sprocket to, oh no, sorry, I left the countershaft. I changed it back to stock actually. So the countershaft is at stock, 14 tooth, and I put a 42 tooth on the rear. You might think, well, that doesn't raise the ratios too much, doesn't make it that much lower of a gearing, but it's lower enough so that it makes a difference, coupled with the power mods that I made, because, you know, they help me push that gearing now, and then it's just about perfect. I can cruise on the highway, go on 100 kilometers per hour at 6,900 RPM, so that's not bad. And yet I can accelerate up the hills that with stock gearing I would have had to gear down on. And off-road, it's excellent, so no worries. So that's not going too far, you know, like fuel controller, aftermarket filter, exhaust, tank. It's a bit of money, but mostly the exhaust, but I think it's worth it. The suspension on the bike is pretty basic. No adjustment in the forks. There's only preload adjustment in the shock. So it's nothing fancy there, that's for sure, but for the type of riding the bike was intended for, it's sufficient. If you really want to push it, then it's probably going to need an upgrade. I don't ride tremendously hard off-road, so it's fine for me, but I know it would handle better if I upgraded the suspension. So that's probably something I'll do down the line. That's pretty well lit, really. It's like I say, it's an awesome bike. It's really fun to ride. It's so nimble. You know, compared to a lot of motorcycles, it feels like a bicycle when you're in the city, especially, you know, where you need to really maneuver and see traffic and that type of thing. I haven't had any engine problems other than cam chain tensioner. I've had 3 of the Honda cam chain tensioners go. And when I say go, I mean to the danger point fail. So they were all replaced, and what I've done now is I'm using a Krieger aftermarket manual tensioner, and it works fine. You set it right and it's good. You just got to set it right, eh? I would highly recommend this bike to anyone who wants a bike that is going to do what this bike will do for you, which is basically be a real fun bike to ride, short trips on the highway, in town, and up in the hills on the trails. I mean, it's a real fun bike. You know, it's nice to be able to do everything like that on one bike rather than trailering a dirt bike or something. So this is the Yoshi RS4, but as you notice, I put a restrictor on there. There's actually another little thing in there that I put just below this. I put a little screen. It's a little dimpled screen that's the profile is shaped like that. And so I put that in there, and then I put the restrictor on over top. And what that does is it cuts the noise down. It's not so painfully loud as it was before, because with the spark arrestor in that particular can, it's really loud. I think we're just about done. That's about all I got for you. I'm gonna head on back now. And you ladies and gentlemen, you have yourselves a wonderful day. If you got any questions about this bike, the Honda CRF250L, because I've probably missed talking about a lot of things I could have said, just ask them in the comments.